Hey everybody, welcome to the East Coast Styles Magazine Hangout. It's something that we do every week. Saturday at 8 p.m. You can see us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We used to have Twitch. We're not doing Twitch right now, Reggie, right?
Not no
No,
more.
no Twitch anymore. Sorry, you gamer guys, but anyway, so yeah, we do this. What's our show about? It's just a hangout area. We talk about different topics, and we have people different from the car world, the car scene, all different things to talk about all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of an open forum here. Remember that you can make a comment if you're watching wherever you're at. See, Tony Dutton, what's up, Reggie? See, it's already starting. But yeah, just like Tony just did, you can make a chat. It'll be over on the right side there. So we'll be able to turn on all the different platforms and we'll be able to see everything in and we'll respond to chats and we're going to talk about the big topic. Now, we're actually a little late tonight because we kind of changed gears because we got some new news. And Reggie, would you be able to let everybody know exactly what happened?
Well, that I'm aware of as of last night. My boy Rich Waterman called it, shutting down All Time Low magazine, which drew up and changed the topic for the night because every time I turn around, another car print magazine is shutting doors.
Right.
And a lot of people bicker and complain because they don't get into print magazines, but they also don't support the print magazines enough to the fact where they can keep going. People in the car industry want car magazines to be around, but they spend more time bickering about being in the car magazines than instead of supporting the car magazines. And when it comes time, a lot of car magazines shut down because businesses aren't supporting those print magazines. People aren't supporting them like they used to. And then what's going to happen when all the car magazines are all gone? And then what are you going to turn to? The internet?
Right. Well, one of the things. Yeah, here's the thing. Before we jump into this real quick, I want to introduce myself. I'm Primo. I'm kind of the host of the show. Reggie is the master of the show himself because he's the Lord of ECS magazine. And then over on my right over here, Joe, would you like to introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're about?
The one and only FERRO, the franchise Joe Ferro, formerly at one point a co-host and executive producer.
Still, I would say,
yeah, I do what I can for Car Grumps, for Primo. Yep. You'll randomly see me pop in here and there. I know a thing or two about cars. I know a thing or two about marketing, promotions. I know a thing or two about everything.
Yeah, and that's the beauty tonight is that we have, obviously, Reggie knows all about magazines. I've done a little bit with magazines, not a lot, but we've done more stuff with the podcast side, and I think the word accessibility tonight. So we kind of have the two areas that are going in. So, Reggie, the big thing that comes to my mind, so the days of us, and especially in the last couple of years, the days of going out and going to a store has been kind of dry. Like I used to go out to all these different places, and I think we used to go out and pick up car parts and that kind of thing and have a world where we interacted with people. Now I go to places I can't find anything. So I either buy it online or I buy it someplace like that. Do you think that kind of, we don't go to shelves and look at magazines anymore or don't see them, kind of hurts the magazine industry in some way?
Well, the magazines, people are not supporting the magazines like they used to back in the days. Where at one time, all of us used to buy magazines and pull the features out, tape them to the wall. You know, we would do everything we could to fix up our cars to be on the cover or featured or even just get any kind of recognition in a magazine. But I'm not bickering about the fact that the magazines are shutting down. I'm actually going to bicker that the people out there in the car industry are not supporting these magazines and purchasing these magazines, and the advertisements are spending time or spending money with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's including myself.
Yeah.
Because
so that's the thing is for me, I find it pretty easy to get magazine stuff, but I know there's a lot of people out there that probably don't have as much access to it. Where should somebody, if they say they want magazines and stuff like that, where should they go to kind of find out where their favorite magazine is gone if they don't go out as much?
That's a good point. I mean, that is a good, because if you go to the newsstands, it's very limited on any kind of car source of any magazine, hot rod magazines and all of them. Where are they at now anymore?
Right.
I mean, you got street trucks and maybe Pass Mag. You got a couple that's out there on the stands, but even I've heard from people that's having a hard time finding those now.
Right.
We aren't on the stands. We're direct through the website, but to us, that's actually better for the reach out to the car community.
Right.
You know,
I'm wondering if maybe doing some more stuff. We have, especially in the car show world, we have all these. We really do have a lot of places where we can access car shows. Like, there's so many places that you can go to get into car shows. There's so many places that you can go to even be at a car show. And especially like, for instance, the Thursday night meetings and stuff like that we do. And the thing is, I go to the table and they always advertise some car show stuff, but they advertise kind of their little newsletters and stuff. And I'm like, I think that would be a really good place to kind of have access to that. Has people kind of gone into that and seen if there's a way to kind of put a shelf at the car show?
Well, that's actually a good thought. I mean, but people like All Time Low magazine did do that, and if we don't do that. We could do that, but we haven't done that. But All Time Low magazine, I know for a fact when they go to shows, they have magazines in their hands. I know they got booths that have them set up, and Common Tread still does that. Gauge magazine still does that. And to be able to set up a show with the magazines on hand is a huge gesture. I know Drop Draw magazine, the one that we help print out, I know he's going to start bringing them to the van shows with him. He's got a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other thing is I've seen a lot of shows that were actually done by, I mean, back in the day, if I did Hot Import Nights or if I did some of the big muscle car show things, they were actually sponsored by the magazine. So you went there and it was like, there it is. You can't miss it. You know what I mean? And you brought up stuff like Pass Mag and junk like that. And those were just magazines that really just, like I said, you couldn't miss them. And that's the thing is, go ahead, Joe.
As a digital guy, I grew up on the magazines, man. The Motor Trends, all that stuff, all the beautiful magazines, all the pictures in the magazines, right? But not to take it here, but look at the porn industry. It all went digital.
Right.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't go to the store and buy the magazines for us. The car magazines for us back in the day were car porn, right? Still is, whatever.
Right.
You don't go to the stores and pick those off the shelves anymore. Right. It's all become digital.
Right.
And things like this, this meetup, this thing we have, I think is where it's kind of going. The print is still a beautiful thing because you have the photography, you have the writing, you have articles. People still buy Playboy for the articles.
But
we say that and we're like, oh yeah, sure, people, I read it for the articles. Nah, some people do. It's still good stuff. Still good literature.
Right. But my thing is I still want the paper. Like I still, when we had the guys from 22 Rally just did their big thing last week or so, and they got all the pictures from the show from where they did our show at Hopkinton. And when they did the show up there, they came back and I got like 16 magazines from here from where they said we were in it and wanted to, you know what I mean, give it out to the guys that showed up or had the pictures for it. And I handed it out to them, and I say that's so much more powerful than saving the picture from online. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that article that's online, that's sooner or later that's going to disappear. But that print magazine, man, you can take that out, you can fold it, you can put it on a wall someplace. But the problem and the reason I would never have seen that magazine if I hadn't is that I don't go out to buy food anymore. My food gets delivered to my house. Like it gets DoorDashed. Right. Like, how do I look at the place that sells me the food and say, hey, by the way, we have magazines. Remember we used to go out all the time and we get the magazine that had all the cars for sale in it. Like, I don't even remember what the magazine was named, but it had all the sales for cars on it. It was just
something trader, whatever. Yeah.
I haven't seen that in it's easily been like 5 years. So, but
I
anyway,
used to love that as a kid.
Right. So I want to introduce Michelle here. Can you hear us okay, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. Can you introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're about?
I'm Michelle Boone. I shoot for All Time Low magazine. As everybody knows, today was pretty much the last day that Rich announced that we would be closing shop.
Right. And your screen is showing your eyes. Can you?
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Yeah. It's like, there you go. You're gonna.
Person.
I finally got Reggie to get his lined up, and so I want to make sure everybody.
But yeah, she's planning to. You
don't want the Reggie shot like this.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Go ahead, Reggie.
Michelle's also, even though All Time Low magazine shut down, she's bringing out her own version of a print magazine, and that's also what I want her to talk about, because she's going to help keep it alive, because magazines do come and go a lot, and that's what the topic is. And I want Michelle to, basically explain her part, because it's her magazine.
And so before we do that, we just wanted to say there's a Facebook user from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I just wanted to say, hey, how's it going? Thanks for getting us in the chat. Tony Dutton, ECS for life. Tony said, hi, Michelle. And Tony, for some reason, likes Auto Trader. And Auto Trader.
That's what we're talking about.
I think Auto Trader's dead. I don't know. There's a
lot
of
that's what we were talking. That's what we were talking about. When you pick up the magazines, got all the cars for sale. Auto Trader.
Was it Auto Trader? I thought
it was Auto Trader.
Mine was Car and something else, and I don't know if it was Auto Trader magazine. That was
all right. Maybe around here was Auto Trader over here in Rhode Island. Yeah.
So anyway, what I'm going to do, Michelle, is I'm going to kind of like, this is going to be a layered question, because I think it's important for you to kind of give us your input here. Number one, what do you think happened? How did we end up in that point where, this magazine is closing up? And then I know you plan on starting something. So my thing was that, and to help all of us learn, is what's the plan to overcome those issues when your magazine begins to roll out?
I think part of the problem is when COVID hit, everything kind of went south for everybody. And with that being said, prices went up, the economy, paper prices, everything, and people just didn't want to pay $25 for one magazine. I think that was a lot of the problem. And also on top of that, Rich has got a wedding venue, and his wife has felt a little bit ill, but she's doing a lot better. And, a health scare kind of puts everything into perspective for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't even know that. Prayers. Tell her that ECS magazine sends her prayers, please.
I will.
Definitely. Because I love them guys.
So when is your magazine starting?
First, I'm going to start online, because I want to make sure that it's something everybody can get behind. I kind of don't want the mini truck scene to fall through the cracks again. That's the reason I want to start it. Right. But I want to make sure that we get good response from that first, because this will be the first time I'm ever doing something on my own, really. I travel across the country, but I just want to make sure it's well received before I start going down the road to print again.
Right. And what adversity do you think you're going to run into while you're doing this, and how do you think you're going to overcome it?
I think part of it is maybe it might have left a sour taste in some people's mouth, that it just all of a sudden quit. But I think that with my personality and with the relationships I've developed through All Time Low, that we can overcome that.
Right. See, my thing is right now, and I think the biggest difficulty that anybody has with the magazine, and I think it's true no matter what magazine it is, and that's the thing is all because there's this couple of magazines that I've looked at religiously since I was like 15 years old, and I've noticed that, like Joe was saying, is things have become more and more digital. They've become more and more, I want to say, social media, and we have kind of the 2-minute cycle. So the fame of 2 minutes is, you're popped up, you're on a stream, you literally have you're on there forever how long somebody looks at you, and there's so much input coming from all different directions, from now TikTok and now all this other stuff, that people are having a very tough time kind of grasping on. We have a attention span of seconds these days, like it's less than a minute. And that's the thing is I think that's the biggest thing to overcome, is that you have something where you want to sit down and actually read and ingest the information and be vested in what you're reading. And that's the thing. I think it kind of scares me about where we're headed, because like I said, I want to see more print, because more print is vested content. It's stuff I can hold in my hand. I can always go back and check it. A lot of my magazines I've had for years, you know what I mean? But that's the thing is we're going into this digitized world where, like I said, my groceries come to my house. I don't go out and get groceries anymore. So how do we get people to go out, and if they're going out or doing what they need to do, how do they find your content once it's out there? Is the goal to just be digital, or is there a bigger goal here?
I think my bigger goal is to go print eventually, but with seeing Rich and Beth struggle with that, with the prices and stuff right now, because I would want to keep the same quality that they did. I think that's going to be my biggest goal and biggest adversity to face, because I work a full-time job. I'm an X-ray supervisor. I've been there for 27 years.
Nice.
So this is not my full-time job. It's and as most people know, we don't get paid. We didn't get paid to this is my own doing. Me and my husband travel across the country on our expense, pretty much. Right. So that's going to be the biggest struggle. But I think too, with me not making money from it, it gives me kind of a different perspective from everybody else, because I love what I do and it's not a money making thing for me.
Well, I almost want to say, and Joe, you can even say this from, you and me doing the stuff that we've done in the past. It's almost like it has to be a hobby. Like it's not like we do stuff as I treat my stuff like a job, but obviously my income has come from other places. And then it said, now I'm going to take that and put it into kind of what I wanted to do the whole entire time. And now today that stuff, the positive is it is more accessible. So you have these platforms out here that you can reach out to people. But that's the thing is I see more people that I want to look at and say, this should be a professional job. Like it should be something where you.
Yeah, but it's absolutely a grind.
Right.
And I think I think the print media has to realize the digital media, and they both have to work together. You have to use you really have to use both in this day and age to make both successful. And I think I think print has to be more top-notch quality kind of thing at this point. Exclusive, like photography, glossy pages, deep commentary, things of that nature, to really make it pop. And then transition, you want to use that more to transition to your digital stuff.
Right. But it is work though, right? That's the thing is
it's all work. It's all
people don't understand, like for the stuff that we did just for a show that we did on bi-weekly, like we didn't do it once a week. You do not know you have to do your regular work in your thing. And then it's like, okay, now imagine which what you were doing. Now imagine doing a magazine where it's like everything's going to fit in its little zone, and then have who's going to be my photographers and doing so. We had a nice team of guys, but I just think that it's so much more. So Michelle, how many staff do you think you need to run like a magazine, like what you're thinking?
I'm really not for certain. I'm kind of new to all this. When Rich done it, he had very limited staff. He done all the layouts and everything like that. He done most of the editing for the magazine as well. I really didn't edit pictures, so I've got to learn how to do that, which I've started picking up on pretty quickly. But I know we need to have at least 4 photographers at least, if not more. I've had a lot of people volunteer to step up and help, that people I didn't even realize had Photoshop and magazine skills before have, where we're in a relaxed atmosphere. I had a guy step up and a couple of others step up to try say that they would help us any way they can, just to keep something alive for mini truckers.
Good. So Reggie, I'll pitch that question to you real quick. So to do the stuff that you do, what kind of staff do you think it needs to be a skeleton crew?
Well, I've been doing this for 22 years, so that's a difficult question. I mean, I'm being honest. I'm the old fogey.
Yeah.
But for Michelle, I can honestly give you advice. I can. It's like I was proud of Rich and Beth for doing what they did. I am. I still am. Proud of all the magazines that come and gone, but don't just take baby steps at it, honey. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be fine. Yeah. You got a huge following. People love you down there.
Thank you.
No, they do. They do. They love you. They love Rich. When you came in, you had a huge impact on All Time Low magazine. People that follow them are going to follow you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yes.
And the other thing that I want to add too is that a lot of people will tell me that print is this and print is that. And I was like, no, people, this is the thing. People are looking for you. The trick is going to be making sure they can find you. You have to make your prevalence so loud and so boisterous that they can't miss you. And I think that's the thing is once you give these guys a place to go, all of them are gonna just follow into suit and go, oh, that's out there. That actually adheres to what my thinking is. I'm gonna do it, you know. And then here's Enzo. Enzo just said I miss magazines. So, and that's the thing is I like. There's a couple of times I want to look like there's magazines out there, but these guys can't find them. So
we're here. We ain't going nowhere.
Right. So the thing is we got to get that. It's not just the word out, but like. And Sam says you can do it, hun. If you lead the trucks, they are there. Just ask, and we will all help you out. So, see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're out there. Just and how does that make? Does that make you feel better about this whole thing?
It does. I was really sad that we did close the doors, but I know that I have a lot of good friends in the industry, and from that, and I've had so many positive comments just by announcing that that's what I'm going to attempt to do, that it's kind of been overwhelming, but I'm very appreciative and very humble that people still want the print magazine, number one, and number two, a lot of my features, they've become more family now. Like Sketchy Speed Shop in Texas, I've shot his whole family's vehicles, and they've become like a family. And I liked having that kind of contact with my features, that we're just all get along so well and we still stay connected, and they all say hi at shows. That just makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
The community's out there, and they will definitely support you. They'll support you because they love what you're doing. So, and you already have that. You already have the following, and real car truck community will follow.
Right. So Joel Chappell actually has a question. If you guys remember Joel, Joel's been on the show before.
Joel,
is it important to have consistency in photography staff to maintain a magazine style? And I can't read the last of it because everybody kept asking questions. I don't know if you see the bottom of that one there. If you can pull that one up, Reggie. Is it important to have consistency in photography staff to maintain a magazine style? And does photography turnover for style changes? That's either for you or Michelle or Reggie, whoever wants to take it.
Well, I can start off by saying it depends on what type of magazine that you're running. Like in Michelle's case, mostly focused on mini trucking, and depends on how far and how big she wants to go. You know what I'm saying? Just like All Time Low magazine, they started out small and they grew and they grew and they grew and they grew. And it's going to take time. Photographers, when you take the consistency of different photographers, if they have the same passion you have, which is not something you just don't go out and just pick up any photographer. You have to have somebody that has the same passion and view as you do as running that magazine.
Right.
Because if you don't, then you're going to start failing in those certain areas. That's why I stay with my photographers all the time. I'm good. I treat my photographers like family. We're all best friends. We're a great family. But, you know, they come and go a lot. Family has problems and personal issues like that. And people don't understand that. You have to, if you don't have your photographers with your magazine, you can't possibly do it by yourself. I tried that first 3 or 4 years of ECS, and I was about to close doors. There was no way I could do it by myself.
Yeah.
Is that your feeling, Michelle?
Yes. Rich is, I mean, I've been with Rich pretty much since the beginning, but we've had photographers come and go. And, you know, if anybody's ever heard Beth's story of how she started the magazine, which she got shunned by a male photographer and a male owner of a magazine. And that's how it originally started. And I think that we've had a lot of guys come and go, of course, and build their own brand, but we've also had people that have caused drama. Like he said, every family has its problems and people come and go. But you have to have a passion and want to do it, and you have to stick true to your word. And if you promise something, you have to deliver. You can't just say you're going to show up at a show and never show up. You have to be there for everybody and keep true to your promises.
Right. All right. What is going over there, Joe?
Apparently it's fireworks. I live in a good neighborhood.
I was like, there's a shootout at Joe's house.
Yeah. It's fireworks.
That was the most timed fireworks ever. Okay, if I see the window, if I see the window smash out, I'm coming to get you.
If you see me jump up with, yeah.
He keeps ducking like he's getting a shoot by a drive-by. Right?
Oh man!
I jumped up. I look and I'm ready.
Tony Dutton says we're all behind you guys, and Joel stuck in traffic on the way back from Boston. And Enzo has 2 posts. He says doors are always open to everyone to cover stuff, and that's Enzo Motoring. So yeah, I know I've gone up there. So Sam, let me know what you're looking to shoot. We can line up a mini truck all the way up to movie replica semis. And he added, we always tell our guys that our families are more important than the cars. It's about fellowship and brotherhood. If we have them, great. If we don't, it's okay. Be there for each other. That's what's important. Joel tells Joe to duck and cover, and cousin Cletus Automotive, yo, and Sam duck and cover Joe. So yes, I think
I'm good. Trust me.
I think the prevailing thing among the people that are watching the show is Joe should duck and cover. So anyway, I'm glad we're learning here.
It's just fireworks. I'm in a good neighborhood. It's just fireworks. Right. At very least, you might hear some burnouts. That'll come through. Well, that's not a lot.
Right. Somebody pulled out a howitzer. Go ahead,
Reggie. That's only a goddamn cannon.
Right. Go ahead, Reggie.
You know what? Me and Michelle have one thing in common right now. And I'm going to go ahead and say this to Michelle directly. I never spoke to you before, Michelle, but I have been watching you. I've watched all of you guys. But one thing me and her do have in common. She worked her butt off at All Time Low magazine. Now she's going to create her own. She's going to make a go for it.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm getting ready to mute your daggone fireworks.
I'm about to mute myself. I'm sorry. A lot of festivities in my neighborhood.
It just suddenly came on too.
I know, it's a very rowdy neighborhood.
Okay. But Michelle's starting off the same way I started off, and this is no lie. You ain't that old. You're old enough, Michelle, to remember Drop Draw magazine.
Yeah.
Drop Draw magazine was pushing the scene for 13 years. And right there towards like the middle part of Drop Draw magazine, I started. Okay, I started East Coast Styles magazine. Drop Draw magazine, Glenn Pilgrim and Mike Pilgrim, bless their heart, they're the ones that push me and strive me to do what I'm doing now. When they shut doors, nobody noticed, and I'm going to say it out loud. When they shut doors, they hand me over all their social media, and I built ECS magazine up through them. Now, years later, they respect me after I respect them. Now we brought out Drop Draw Custom Vans magazine. which is owned by Glenn, by the way. That's Glenn Pilgrim, not us, but we print it for them. But that's where the respect builds there. And what I'm saying to you is your passion in this, and the fact that you want to do something because of another one shutting down, it's going to show your power where you're going to blow up. You're going to blow up. But I will say this, and I'm going to say it just like I said in the beginning, and then talking to Primo. We will not survive as print magazines if the car people don't support us like they're supposed to, and the businesses don't spend money. If they don't advertise with us, and the people don't support us, instead of bickering at us because their car's not in there, just support us. Eventually, your car's going to end up in that magazine. We're going to have your back, and you're going to have our back, and then we can grow from there. But without the support, none of us is going to grow. Yeah, I've been around 22 years, but tomorrow could be my last day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand where how Rich is feeling. You know, if you don't have the push and the strive from the car community, you can't afford to keep going, no matter how you print it.
Yeah.
And the Facebook and social media platforms don't help out when everybody and their mom and pop is a dab less the photographer.
You're right.
And cell phones don't count. I'll say that loud and proud.
No. I told my daughter that.
I think there's a lot there's a big complaint that I've had, not to say badly, but about Instagram and all these other things out there is that it has that flash in the pan feel. It's the 2-second thing where it's like, I want to see the car. I want to see how you built it. I want to see what it's about. I want to hear a story. And a lot of these things are not telling stories. They're people that are going to put up a lot of content, and there's going to be, you have that dedication for that 10 seconds and then it's gone. It's over. Where's the value in it? You know what I mean? I want people to hear stories. And that's the thing is I think everybody out there wants to hear that story, but we need to be able to get it to them. And that's really it is I think that just like the magazine. So when you make something and it's around a concept, that concept has to resonate in everything that you do, and not just saying it's just the magazine. In other words, here's the digital side of it. Here's the, you know what I mean? Support all the different styles to it. And then I think you'll get a lot more bite out of it because it's going to start getting to people. I think the hill that we have to overcome right now is the idea that we tried to find a mall today and I couldn't find one. Like I had to go 40 minutes out of my way just to go to a mall, just to be like, I'm going to check out some actual physical stores and get some stuff. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's either be everywhere or be nowhere kind of thing now. And that's kind of something I don't like about media, but I understand where it's coming from. You know what I mean? It's why we're doing a show here. So, but anyway, Sam says Way Joe is looking. I wonder if it's really fireworks.
Sam, thank you for your concern. It is absolutely fireworks.
I saw the light lighting up.
I keep muting. I figured out how to mute myself.
Yeah, nice.
Why does Reggie look like he's hunting crocodiles?
He actually found a couple, so just saying.
I got
my bald spots, okay?
I got cannons going off. Reggie's hunting crocodiles. What are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, I like this line from Joel. I love this line from Joel. So Joel says the problem is people have a Vine mentality. They have a 6-second attention span. That's something we said at the beginning of the show, Joel, is that attention spans of old, which, when I grew up, it's every video was 10 minutes or, you had an article or whatnot. Now it's gone to 2 minutes and then it's down. Now it's down to the Vine started it. Now every platform out there, like if I want to post on YouTube, if I want to post on Instagram, if I want to post on TikTok, it's the 15-second of thing, and that's it. It's you're not vested in anything at 15 sequence. So how do you
Joel drop in the old school Vine,
right? Vine mentality.
But we're old in this chat.
So here's the thing. Let me put this to the group here. So how do we change that? How do we get people actually vested in the story, and what they're seeing and all that stuff? Go ahead. Anybody take it.
Well, to me, the story makes the article. I love to write stories. If you've read any of the stuff I've wrote recently, I want to know the story of the owner, and I want to know the history and the story of the vehicle. I've had several people that read the articles and they tell me that they cried. It's just not that I put the details of has this engine, this color, this set of wheels. It's that you told my story and how I built that vehicle and why I built that vehicle. And I think people like that rather than, well, you've got a 350 engine and this, that, and the other. They like the story and they like us to tell the story, but a lot of stuff has gotten away from that.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. The provenancia of a vehicle, even if you just look at monetary value, it brings something with a story or a history, brings money, and it means more than just the same exact vehicle with the same exact mileage, same exact engine, everything. But if it was, some drug cartel's previous vehicle, it gives a little bit more provenance.
I always laughed when people used to list cars and they'd be like, it used to be owned by Don Imus. And I'm like, who cares a Don? You're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like we're getting a little
more than that.
But maybe it was owned by Tyson. I think I'd be excited. But
Tyson, El Chapo.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me an F40.
Cousin Cletus, people want to see, I can't see that, obtainable vehicles too. Most people don't want to hear about how someone with a bunch of money has some expensive car. Okay, exactly. That's fair enough.
Yeah, no, we want to hear crazy stories that go along with this beautiful vehicle.
And what do you got, Reggie? What's your input on that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was your input on that? Because everybody was talking about how we gain people and we get them locked into going from the 30-second story to the 10-minute story to the whole article read. How do we get them to do that?
Reggie was hunting a crocodile. Leave him alone.
He found it. I already said.
Sorry, climbing my leg. No, wrong lizard.
This is where this stream's going. Oh boy! All right, you picked the right guy to come on.
Check the adult button. Done. Okay, cool.
No, but for a lot of magazines, they do articles, and a lot of articles do touch people the right way, like she said. Fortunately, our magazine has never really done an article. I mean, we really not get into the articles, but that's our perspective. That's our thing. That to each their own. The only thing we do articles on is the features and stuff like that. We go into depth and detail, but and the car shows, their experiences as a photographer's experiences at the shows and stuff like that. But if Michelle with All Time Low magazine and other magazines, they do the articles and everything, that is, to me personally, a very huge benefit because it explains more in detail about the owner of that vehicle or the people involved in the scene and stuff. And I highly respect that. I always have. That's one of the reasons I used to buy a Lowrider magazine and Mini Trucker magazine, to be honest with you, was a lot of articles. Because you learn a lot, the how-to sections and stuff like that. I mean, do I wish we could put that in our magazine? Yes, but we don't just do mini truck shows. So we do all types, and that's a lot more, Michelle. That's a lot more struggle than just doing mini truck shows. So we would have to learn a lot more about different types of cars to be able to do all them articles, and we just don't have time.
Yeah.
So my thing is, and this is the way I see it, and after everybody give me the input, I just wanted to add this, is I think that the biggest thing that I would love seeing is that I think each part has to come together as a whole. So you kind of have, like, I don't think that digital survives on its own. It needs the writing side of it. It needs the paper. But I also think that the 10-second videos can have a predominant way of driving because, you have to get your fix kind of thing. So when I'm doing an article on a car, before I do the article, I have a 10-second video on watching that car rev and do all its stuff. So now you have your other systems that are support systems. And then you say, hey, by the way, this car that you just saw a cool burnout on for 10 seconds, how it got to that point, which I think in the little bit of blurb that's in there that people can read, can get them vested enough that they say, you know what, this has a cool story, but the only way to read that story is going to be in our print magazine. Or here's the thing where we say the 15-second video on our Instagram, our reel on Instagram, goes to our digital page that says, here's the 5-minute video showing it winning a thing. And then our print magazine says the story about how they got there to win that, because I think that's become a more readable section. And I think if you put those things together, and somebody tell me if they think I'm wrong here, is that if you put those things together, then you have a cohesive whole. And I think people become to get invested in all those moving pieces. Does that make sense?
Well, I think you're right. And I think it is like the progression is like the cold start on Instagram. You feel that and that's that cold start, and that cold start goes to a burnout or a rev in a reel or a TikTok or whatever the shit the kids are using these days, and then it goes to a build write out in a magazine, and then a build bio in YouTube. It all comes together, and it has to all come together like that, I think, into to make it a cohesive thing these days in this scene.
Think about it like this. In other words, if let's bring Smokey and the Bandit into 2022, and I said, what's going to get me into that? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see a 30-second skit of it doing a burnout and doing its jump or whatever. So the 30-second skit is the jump.
You're a snowman. You're a snowman.
That's right. I got the dog. So
I'm definitely smoke. I'm definitely the bandit.
You can be the bandit. So, you see,
Reggie is. No.
Reggie's the dude asking for the beer. You know it. We're the ones running it, and he's like, "Can you get it back here in time? We need it from Virginia to here in 11 hours. It's a 12-hour trip."
He's little Linus and Cleanus.
Yes, yeah. I don't know who's little Enos. He's big Enos. I don't know who we're gonna get for little Enos, but yeah. So if I did that today, I do a 30-second TikTok of the car jumping a ravine. Then I'd go from that to the 2-minute video commercial that's on the thing, that's on YouTube. Then I'd have the 2-hour movie that you go in the theater to sit down with. And then I'd probably have a 10-minute or 20-minute video someplace telling us where you can get the car, what went into making the movie, all those little pieces that came together that made that a whole. And then you say, hey, you know what? This is how we got it. This is the engine it had. This is all the info. And that stuff is still a paper environment. Do you know what I mean? Not all of it's digital, not all of it's paper. Everything kind of comes together. But I think that's the thing is having the time to be vested in that. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you when. I can't read that part with Smokey and the Bandit, Big Rig, and the Trans Am. It gets everyone into it. Exactly. And that's the thing is I think that if we're going to get people excited today, number one, and this is something to bring it back to Cletus, it either has to be attainable or it has to be something where we explain part of the process is explaining to people how it's obtainable. But the other thing is getting more people into it. So not just saying, here's your 30-second hit. You got to be able to get them vested in it. And I think some people will get invested. Some people are just there to see the burnout, and that's okay because they got what they want. They're happy. But other people are going to go in that and they want to hear that story. How'd you get it? Where'd it come from? You know, if I told you we're going to do a story about how they got all the DeLoreans for Back to the Future, we'd probably have 20,000 views. So, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I think put it down in the comments, like, subscribe. I think me and Primo should run like 300 cases of Coors Light from Rhode Island to
I already got the truck.
I don't know, wherever. Alabama. I don't know, Texas.
No, dude, we got to do the Virginia run. That's it, man. We got to Virginia, because you got to know everything is illegal in Massachusetts. That's a rule. Now everything's illegal in Providence and in Rhode Island.
Tell me the run. I will paint up the Cadillac black and gold.
Yep.
And I will be the lead car.
That's right.
Let's go. Put the barrels on the front too.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of sacrilege if I do that because it's a Cadillac, but it is still a GM, so I could. I think it would look great with gold wheels.
You're just breaking my heart. The idea that Pontiac isn't still a brand. I used to be such a Pontiac fan, and now.
Well, let's just make the fact that if Michelle goes to Mini Trucker Nationals next time, she can send me the moonshine then. All y'all want to talk about beer and crap and all this stuff, and she can send me the moonshine. Well, I'll have that up here.
ECS moonshine run. Let's go.
Yeah.
Load it up.
Cousin Kalita says automotive community is growing. You could do YouTuber cars and do some interviews with them. You get the car people plus automotive YouTuber fans. And then Joel says we should all do the power tour. Done.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
Michelle, what is the name of your magazine going to be?
It's going to be Dragon Metal.
Dragon Metal magazine. That sounds kind of catchy. Like it.
Yeah. We had a friend back in the day who used to do body drop when they first started doing body drops. That was the name of his shop. So we actually have his license plate on our 64 Cadillac in the driveway. And it just caught my eye.
You
got him all excited.
Yeah, we got a 64 Cadillac.
Very excited.
Right.
We have a Psionic we show, but we have a 64 Cadillac also in the driveway.
See,
Caddy fam.
Yeah, where'd you get that Cadillac from, Michelle?
Well, actually, my husband works at he did work for a street rod shop, and he done some trading. So we're still waiting on the title.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Michelle. Anytime you got any questions, if by any chance, if you need any help or any guidance of any sort, and if Rich ain't available to help you out, feel free to hit me up. I'll help you out.
His voicemail is available for you.
No, one thing I can honestly say, being around for 22 years, if anybody needs any kind of help or any kind of advice, I do not mind sharing, because it's not about competition, man. It really ain't. The print magazines, I even said the same thing to Rich. He never hit me up because he didn't need to. Him and Beth are very smart individuals. They really are.
Yep.
They're highly intelligent. For as young as they are, they're highly intelligent.
Well, I've been around this long enough to know that I can give you the worst advice possible. All you need to do is call me. So,
yeah, well,
if you want it into the ground like a lawn dart, the engine to explode, tires all over the place, I am your guy. I can definitely find a way to break it. So
you hit up me or Primo. We both give you bad advice.
That's right.
The reason I give the advice, and the reason I'm trying to offer my help to you for any reason, and trust me, I'm not going to charge you, because when Drop Draw Magazine, when they were around, they were my guiding light. Drop Draw Magazine, 100% showed me the way. I was going to really just do all lowriders. That's all I was going to do. And I was going to just do an online website. And I did. I started out with just strictly lowriders. And
Joel up here, true story.
Yeah, you know what he's talking about.
You son bitch.
Glenn Pilgrim and Mike Pilgrim basically kind of gave me the nudge and said, if you're going to go to all the car shows and you're just going to focus on lowriders, but you're going to all the different types of car shows, why not just do like us and just do it all? So I did. And when they saw me and my photographers pushing and pushing and pushing, they guided me. They went on stage. They told people to go to my site instead of theirs, which was really awkward, for someone that I looked up to, telling everybody, all their fans, to come to us, And there's been a couple of times where I've even promoted my magazine and threw Riches in there and told people to go check out theirs, because we're not just a one type of vehicle magazine. So, I mean, I can do that. we don't. If you're just focused on mini truck, I can help to a certain extent because we do it all. I can help other magazines that do different varieties. I mean, I took on a responsibility of making things difficult for myself, which is doing all types of cars and trucks and shows because it can't get everybody to every one of them, and it drives people nuts.
Well, I think me and Primo experienced a lot of that on the radio show that we were doing, where it was really hard to find. People thought we were kind of one lane. Primo,
yes, absolutely.
If you will. We were kind of one lane, but we were car lovers. We loved everything. We loved imports. We loved, we clapped out freaking whatever's that had, hitting a two-step, and we loved, the boomers with the big old friggin' the high stacks, big blocks. We loved exotics, the supercars, hypercars, all that stuff.
We literally had it all. So
we had it all, but I think a lot of people, were like, "Oh, car radio show, all right." Like, what kind of car show are you? And it's like everything, and they were,
To be fair, we did not too long ago had Rich Waterman himself on here at one time too. So Rich actually Primo members that Rich from Old Time Low Magazine was on here not that long ago. Was it like a month or so ago, a couple months ago.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, he was on there, and the way he was talking, you would have never saw this day coming.
No,
you really wouldn't. Yeah. And it breaks my heart because he's a young guy, and I really thought he was gonna really blow it up. I thought he was gonna go huge. I really did. Because every time, I'm not going to sound jealous, but every time I went to his site and I watched the way he handles things and then he does things, I was like, dude, he's going to blow me out of the water. I ain't going to lie. I'll say it live on there. I thought he was going to blow me out of the water. But at the same time, I respect it because I knew ain't nobody really going to push me away. Because, 22 years and I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. I can't say that. I'm not going to say that because to end the show off, I will say it again, and anybody that's watching or listening in or watching it after we are off the air and everything else, in order for these magazines, any car magazine, truck magazine, hot rod magazine, for them to be successful, we need you car show people that goes to these shows, support these magazines. My God, just support them. Buy the magazines, show them off with your cars, be proud of it. In our case, if you can't get print, buy the digital copy. We got digital copies and print copies. Yeah, these businesses out there, I'm not going to push them because, like you said, COVID hit, businesses and prices, nobody can afford to spend money anymore. And it's sad. But if a local mom and pop shop or something wants to throw an ad in there, and they got a good name and they want to spend the money, you're going to have to take that money sometimes. You're going to have to put their ad in there to keep going because you're not always going to have the big guys to support you. I've had big magazine advertisers come and go, just like I've had great photographers come and go. And some of them, the best photographers, I didn't want to let go of. We're not going to go into that here. But sometimes to uphold a great name in a print magazine is the same thing as having a family. You want everybody in the car show scene to be treated with respect. You want them to respect you, and you want to grow. And if you can't grow and you can't be respected, you're not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. And it's sad because I literally was broke heart when Mini Truck shut down. I was torn apart when Low Rider Magazine shut down. When Trucking Magazine, I got boxes and boxes of them in my shed. And every once in a while, I catch myself out there flipping through them old magazines because it kills me to know that those wonderful magazines are gone, and they're gone forever.
Well,
do we have a hurricane coming or something?
I'm guessing so. Yeah. Let's go. First, he's getting bombed, and you're getting
gunshots over here.
Right.
Artillery flares. Blew off my head. I'm like, what in the world?
I will say to anybody in the car community, which I think is our demographic that we're talking to here, you know, these I've recently seen a very successful car meet shut down because of dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Yes.
as always,
Yes.
it always happens. Because of dumb stuff.
I'm gonna add something there because I got two things to go here real quick because my time is gonna be limited. So
yeah, shoot,
the first thing I want to add too is number one. I was talking to Jen today, and she said, "Why do they build a McDonald's across from Burger King?" And I said, "Because if I was building a store, I would build them right next to each other." It was one of those things of where I said people used to say we have this competition. The competition is this, or somebody's trying to take over. And I said, no, when one person builds a store and another person builds a store and then another person builds a Wendy's and then another person builds a store, everybody comes to that location to go for that food. You have
especially the Wendy's.
Everybody starts surviving. So the thing is that it really is each person builds their own thing and brings it to the table and then makes it what they want. And that is what really brings the value to it. So I think one thing I hate is when stuff like these, especially the magazine you start seeing them close up for whatever reason. The idea of fill that vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. So my thing is that the more we do this, the more put stuff in that space, even if it's a hobby, even if it's something you're getting into, maybe if you're not even that good at it, just do it, because I think that's the biggest problem is people get into this stuff. They get intimidated by it and then they don't do it. And that's what the big problem is we don't have enough stuff in the space. The other thing is that and I'm going to preach another one here. Everybody keeps telling me that we're going to car shows and we do dumb stuff. And that's what I have been, because I am a car guy. I started off with the name basically being the bad person, because no matter what I did, no matter how clean I had my car, I followed every law. I had my front plate. I did everything. No matter what I did, they were still going to be after me. So the truth is, and this is what I hate, is that we have to come together, because it doesn't matter if we do a burnout. It doesn't matter if if our car is perfectly stanced or whatever, people are going to be after us. So the thing is people say, you know, if you're going to do your show in a place we have permission to be at. It's just respectful to people. But the truth is that we have to come together, because we can't. That's what they want us to do. They want us to point fingers at other people and say, you did stupid stuff and that's why we're paying. No, they were checking lowering springs back in the 80s. They did it in the 90s. Now they're doing it in the 2020s. It has nothing to do with how low your car is. It has nothing to do with your camber. It has nothing to do with how high it is or how loud the exhaust is. The same attack that we've been under from the 80s, it went to the 90s, went to the 20s. All these people, stop telling people it was because they did something stupid. I changed my mind on saying that stuff now, and I'm going to say it 100%. We have to be behind each other 100%, because it has to start with the good foundation of us accepting that we are good people. And you know what? There are people out there doing a lot worse things than we are, and all we're doing is driving around on a car and enjoying each other's company.
Well, Primo,
I think that's
latest,
positive.
I completely agree with everything you just said.
Yep.
But there's other intangible shit that people do, which is what I heard. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
I'll get in after the after party.
Mm-hmm.
That got shut down for a show that had a burnout box, a two-step,
and that's, you know what? Here's my thing.
All agreed upon by the people. Then other dumb shit happened that shut it down. And it's like, why? Right. You had the perfect shit.
These guys are out here and all they're doing is doing a burnout box in a place that they said, I got a high pressure washer, I'm going to wash it off. And then somebody comes over and says, you guys did $20,000 worth of damage on private property and made a lot of noise. And you know what? All this noise is all coming from Pharaoh's house.
I can't wait to tell you. I can't wait to tell you in the after show.
Yeah. But that's the thing is I'd rather see them doing that than going out and saying burning down places or doing, you know what, give them something to do.
Right.
And then
Have
they'll
fun.
all come together as a community. And you know what? Hey, at that point, we can have that
fun,
little
be
discussion
safe.
about, you know what? There's some people over here that like this fast cars, and there's people over here like tuners, and there's like guys that like mini trucks, and there's guys that like low riders. You know, at that point, when we get a strong community, we can start to bring those people together.
Exactly.
But right now, we're so torn apart, blaming everybody else for all these problems that are happening that we didn't. These problems didn't start yesterday. These problems were pushed on us. Where people somebody in 1987 made a rule that we couldn't have skylines in the U.S. because somehow the glass wasn't safe. Like, seriously, it used to be a huge gray market thing, and that we can't have that. That was not something of our doing. So, and every time we have a show, there's always somebody out there in the community that makes up a complaint. And that's the thing is it's not about that. I'm not taking blame anymore. I refuse to as a car guy. I have given the world a great place to go to that is not destructive, that nobody gets. It's not going to be, you know what I mean? People thrive in you can't hurt anybody in a driveway. Like, come on. But that's the thing. And now are those people, there are people out there that do fast speed and should do it on the track and do that kind of thing. Sure. But you know what? Get on the highway today and tell me you didn't get passed by you doing the speed limit. 16 people passed me today going 100 miles per hour on the highway. It ain't me. It's happening every day on a regular highway. It has nothing to do with how fast your car is. It has everything to do with, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm off topic.
I mean, I may or may not. I went to go see a friend of mine in a rural neighborhood outside of where I live.
Yeah.
I may or may not have exceeded the speed limit. I'm just kidding. I always drive. I always drive the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wasn't, it was a nice windy road. I know how to drive.
Yeah.
I'm full control of my vehicle.
Right.
Well, you got these type of people in all different types of car scenes. I mean, the mini truck scene, Michelle can tell you, we can be out there having a great time, and there's going to be some young punk that comes through and messes it up for everybody. Just same thing with the lowriders. Same thing happens at the classic car shows, the four-wheel drive truck shows. It happens everywhere. And I think the best way to solve it is the older generation has to be able to calmly talk to these people and teach these kids that this is not the way you do it, man.
Yeah, we got to come together, both old and new, and then set the example and stop telling people that they shouldn't be involved in stuff. I mean, the thing is I think about how many people looked, like Michelle was saying it. Somebody started a magazine and somebody looked over and said, you know what? I don't think that person could do a magazine because they're not good enough. You know what? Here's your opportunity to prove them wrong. Here's your opportunity, everybody out there, to prove me wrong by bringing together a community of great people that do not take blame for all their stuff. Stop pointing fingers at each other. Start bringing your community together. And the thing is that I think if we do that, then it helps our magazines. It helps us from our YouTube channels. It helps us with all that content, bringing it together to get people vested in the idea of going into, I mean, that's the thing is that's what I need a magazine for, is I need it to go over and say, here's the content. I'm going to sit in my garage. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to get ideas from it. And I'm going to remake whatever that is. And that's going to be our future. And I really think, like I said, I think the TikToks have a place. I think the Facebooks have a place. I think the pictures of Instagram have a place. I even think the crappy guys with if you think that those crappy photos, because people do take crappy photos and some of them are actually really good, I think. But I think even the crappy and the good
I feel like you're
have
talking
a place
about me.
to be. No, don't take it personal. But that's the thing is and with that, the magazines definitely have a place. And the thing is I want to see them grow, and I don't want them to be stuck in one thing. I want them to be able to expand out, just like we did here. You have the magazine, you have a YouTube channel, you have all these areas where we can get more word out and we can get people more involved in it. And I think if we do that, no matter what we do, we win. So,
and even though mine's going to be mainly mini trucks, I want to expand and include everything, anything lowered or for that matter. If it's a nice lifted truck. But I just want to expand on that. But it will be mainly mini truck based. But there's a lot of things mini truck inspired also. It can be full sizes. It can be a low rider. I
love it.
Anything that catches our eye.
Yeah. Perfect.
Joel, should feel attacked because you're old.
Joel, we need low riders because we can't stand up anymore, and we just want a car. I want a car that raises up, I sit in it, and then it goes back down again. So
slam it down so I can get in. Yeah,
right. But everybody thinks it's style for me. No, it's really because that back is going out, and
right.
But anyway, so I want to thank everybody that came out for tonight. Michelle Boone, Franchise Pharaoh, and my boy Reggie, who always puts together an awesome show for us to come out and enjoy the space. So, do you have anything to end tonight on with, Reggie?
Yes. It's been a pleasure having All Time Low magazine a part of the mini truck scene. It really was. And Michelle, I give you props on what you're gonna do. Like I said, if you need any guidance for whatever, just hit me up. Just hit me up. I'll help you out as best I can. And it's good to see that you're going to keep it alive and keep it going. And real quick, I'll say it for Michelle and myself. You guys want the print magazines to keep going. Support us. That's all I got to say. Support us.
For the fans, Reggie is not my father.
That was great, man. We connected the faces on that one. That was really good. You know what, Joe? I think I'm going to get you that the fisheye lens. I'm going to get you the fisheye lens so that way when you do the show, it can be like this whole thing. It'd be amazing.
Joe, do that. Joe, do it one more time. We're going to do it right now.
There you go. That's awesome.
Say, dude, I am you know what? And I rule. Say it. I'm ECS and I rule.
ECS, I rule.
I'm gonna screenshot that, boy. Watch. I'm gonna screenshot
that. Was
this is Reggie from ECS. I wanna thank you for everybody coming out tonight.
It's like a cartoon character.
Wait. Let me get the lag and the laugh.
Oh, you guys are great, man. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Whether you put a comment in the comment section, whether you did that or not tonight, I appreciate you coming out. Remember that section is over there for you guys to make some noise and let's hear you. Remember we have our space here that if you're looking to come on, just send Reggie a message, figure out, we'll be happy to have you. We always love different topics here. We're on every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we always welcome everybody from around the globe, probably. If you can come out and you got a good enough connection, come on out and let's talk about some cool things about cars and other things. Always remember our sponsor, Control Freak, controlfreakcompany.com. He's awesome products over there. Check them out. And otherwise, we're going to have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And while you're doing it during this week, go out, pick up a magazine. And next week, tell us what you think. We'll see you then.
Yep.